Son got here. I got my good friend, I consider a good friend, Mr. High Roller Hayze. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the corner.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
A lot of people don't get to know High Roller, and I figured I'd sit down and get to know about your past, and your future, and what you're doing now. So, how did you actually get started in the business of professional wrestling?
Man, I grew up around the business side guy. My best friend's dad used to wrestle with Mr. Paul Bosch, and it was kind of a thing. They'd bring the ring over on the weekends. I thought that was a sticker. My bad. You know, they used to bring the ring over on the weekends.
Reflected tape.
Yeah, I see that. People don't hit you at night. So I grew up around the business, man. It was something that was a lot of fun. A lot of Paul Bosch's guys used to come over and hang out and barbecue with my buddy's dad, so on and so forth. So I guess in 91 or 92, I'd been watching WCW Saturday Night my entire life with my grandfather, who was bedridden with cancer at the time. And I was sitting on his hospital bed in his bedroom one night. We were watching WCW Saturday Night, and I looked at him and I told him that one day I was going to be a pro wrestler. And here I am 15 years later, still banging and knocking heads.
So you've been doing this for 15 years?
15 years, Sunday the 20th of February, when I wrestled Slim Sexy in the German Blood match. It was exactly 20 years to the day. It was exactly 7 years to the day that I was told I'd never be able to wrestle again due to the accident that I had in 2004. So, it was, and exactly our 1 year anniversary at ACW.
Well, now the accident, was the accident in the ring? Or?
It involved wrestling. I rented a vehicle. Legally I can't state what kind of vehicle due to the non-disclosure fucking contract thingy that I signed with them.
Damn Morgan. Yeah.
I can tell you they're really big, and it rhymes with you call. Okay. I rented a 26-foot truck to carry my ring to Dallas and back to Houston for a gentleman by the name of Don Serrano for Black History Month. My cell phone fell out of my pocket in the driveway. I crawled up underneath the truck to get the phone. The brake system failed. It rolled over me, shattered my right iliac wing, broke my L1 and my L2 on both sides all the way to the spinal cord. Tore a bunch of ligaments in the right side of my groin, tore my right knee, my right shoulder, my right elbow all up. I was life-flighted to Herman Hospital in Houston. I was told it'd be 16 to 25 months before I'd ever be able to walk again. This was on Friday, February 20th. On Monday, February 23rd, I crutched my ass out of the hospital. So, and on January 20th, 2007, I returned to in-ring action for one last heyday, and I retired against primetime Ricky Douglas. He put me out, and I had a couple promoters hit me up a couple months later wanting me to work. I wasn't too keen on it, just because my body was still, hurting really bad. I did a show for a gentleman by the initials RBG. I refuse to say his full name.
When you say RBG, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. In El Campo, Texas, and turned around and did a show for him. 2 weeks later in Robstown, I did a doubleheader the same day for him in Robstown, Texas, actually, and got stiffed on pay. He handed 5 of us $20 total to get back to Houston on, and I've never worked for him again. But, yeah, as far as the accident goes, I was told I'd never be able to wrestle again. I had 2 surgeries. One was to relieve pressure in my lower spine and to suck fluid out of the back of my right leg that had swollen in there in a nice little pocket in my thigh. The second one was plastic surgery to basically reconstruct the form of my thighs. My fat cells had healed swollen. And I was told after those 2 surgeries that I'd never be able to wrestle again due to the injuries to the pelvis and the back. But shows what doctors know.
True. So, what has been the worst injury that you've actually had in the ring, though?
In the ring? Shit. I've I've broke my shoulder. I've separated my shoulder. I tore my ACL 4 times in my right knee. I've broken my right ankle. I've broken my wrist several times, both of them actually. If you look, that pinky doesn't touch the rest of the hand. That pinky's been shot.
And they say wrestling's fake.
And they say wrestling's fake. I got a scar here.
They say it's choreographed. How you choreograph an accident like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Steel chairs are real people. You don't get to practice that shit, I promise.
It pissed me off today. I know it's taken off the bed. We heard a damn radio DJ say, "Oh, wrestling's choreographed, blah 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 blah."
I'll tell you what. Let me go to the studio with that fucking with that radio DJ. I'll show him how real it is.
As soon as he see it choreographed, I was like, that piece of shit. That's like the 3rd time. Well, how did you get XWO started?
I was working for a gentleman by the name of Jay Hill out of Texas City at the time with Texas New Age Wrestling. It was in late 2000, actually. And myself and a guy that I consider my brother, Zero, were sitting at home in our townhome in Kingwood with my fiance at the time. And Jay Hill was fixing to turn the company over to a gentleman by the name of Jason and Bruce Wimberly, whom I'd worked for several times before at High Impact Wrestling. And I wasn't real fond of their booking and their storylines and so on and so forth, and just how they ran their company in general. And we sat down and we had worked a show together. I forget where we were at. And somebody brought up the idea, well, if you're big and bad enough, why don't you just open your own fucking promotion? Well, 2 months later, me and my brother were sitting down. We'd had the idea in our head for several months, actually. We'd tossed around a bunch of names, and actually Conan was the guy that came up with XWO. The company was originally Extreme Wrestling Organization. We did nothing but 21 and up only shows. We did light tubes, barbed wire, you name it, we did it. Darren Childs, Jacob Ladder. Just some sick fucks. Used to come, Necro Butcher. Some real sick fucks used to come work for us at little bitty ragtown bars. We draw 300-400 people, make $7,000-8,000 at the door, just for blood, guts, and beer. So we started in January of 2001, and we opened up, ran a few family shows, realized it wasn't for us, and went to the bar scene. And it's been around since January of 2001. It was basically to get away from the politics of the business. A lot of the guys out there weren't getting their spotlight. They weren't getting their chance to shine because promoters were letting other people steal their thunder. Playboy Joey Corman, Samir, their Hallow Mass, those guys were phenomenal. Guys like Nico, he used to go by Voodoo the Executioner. Brett Anthony, Brett Basics, whatever you want to call him. Jesse Logan, Andy Dalton, Joey Titan, Leif Erikson, myself, Zero, David Hill, also known as David Bone, just numerous guys, Killer Khan. There was a lot of guys that I brought into my company that never got the chance to shine anywhere. Double Trouble, Austin Rhodes, AC Riddick. You name it, those guys were in my ring when we first opened up. And it was a place for them to showcase what they could do and possibly get out there and be seen a little bit more. So that's how XWO came about. The Reborn was added to it in 2007. In late 2005, I had a rude awakening in my life. Myself and Crystal separated after 6 years of being together every day. It tore my life apart, destroyed my home life, everything I'd ever worked for. I walked away with my toothbrush and my clothes. I gave her everything else. And it was over something stupid. And I walked away, and in 2007, I met with her, and ask her if she would sign off of all the legal paperwork of XWO. She refused to at the time because I had somebody offering me quite a chunk of change for XWO's name. So she wasn't going to sign off of it. She was being quite a bitch. And I know you're probably going to see this video, and I don't think of you that way now, but at the time I thought you were just being a freaking greedy bitch. And I'll say that straight to your face. So I had to come up with something new, and I was sitting around with the guy that owned the bar that I ran and worked for, and he said, "Noah, you've really got a second shot at life. You're reborn. You're getting a chance to do what you love." And it clicked in my head, XWO Reborn, a place for second chances for the misfits of the wrestling industry, so to speak. And that's what it's been. So
Cool. Well, let's take a small break, and I'll get back with you.